I just finished scrolling through some My Day art on Twitter, and I'm back to make another Woowa video. Now this one isn't going to be me complaining about the game, right? Woo! Oh, daring are we, right? Today's video is just going to be a polling plan video. I've never made one on Woowa, so I thought I might as well make one, as this account is more recent. As you can see, it's only UL48, and I have been grinding like crazy on streams, off stream a little bit. I have done a lot more exploration, some quests and all that good stuff. So I do have some polls in preparation. So first, I'd like to mention my original polling plan was to get String Master, then Phoebe, and then Carlotta plus Signature. However, within the last few days, I kind of realized I actually really want Kartethia in 2.4, and it seems like Chacona will end up being that best in slot support for Kartethia. So, I've decided to change my polling plans. I'm no longer getting String Master because I've looked at calcs for Zeshy and she can use Cosmic Ripples just fine without much of a difference, to be honest. And I instead have decided to skip String Master and skip Phoebe so that I can pull Chacona, Carlotta plus Sig, and then Kartethia in 2.4. Now that might sound a lot, but once again, this is a pretty new account. I still have a lot more exploration and all that stuff to do. So let me show you the pulls so far. I currently have around 63 pulls in Asterite, 13 in like the gold thing. I have 10 limited weapon banner pulls, and I have 35 pity on the character banner, and I have, I believe, like 60 on this weapon banner. So basically no reason for me to waste it on String Master, in my opinion, when I could just temporarily use Cosmic Ripples with my Zeshy. I don't think my Carlotta is really going to be losing out all too much without Zeshy having her weapon, so just Zeshy being there is already enough for me. I as well have 72 of this Rainbow Coral, which is enough for 9. And of course, Oscillated Coral is going to reset soon, and I'm going to get even more pulls from that. So during the Annie, with all the exploration I have left that I'll show you guys currently, I'll probably easily be able to get like, 200 plus pulls in this Annie. And the reason I want to skip the first phase, the reason I changed my mind, isn't only because of Kartethia, but it was also because of the Zanny Phoebe situation. I really wanted to pull Phoebe, but Phoebe isn't too crazy in Whimpering Wastes, and I am a sucker for units that have great overall value and everything. Like, the same applied to me in HSR. The more overall valuable a unit is, the more likely I am to pull them, which is exactly what's happening with Cypher currently, and I've decided I'm going to skip Anoxa on my My Day account on that game so that I can get Cypher because of how good she looks, right? In this game, it's no different. Phoebe's best team is going to be with a Zanny, and Zanny's best team is going to be with a Phoebe, but that's just a little too expensive for me, and I care more about Carlotta than I do Phoebe or Zanny, and I especially care more about Kartethia than I do about Zanny or Phoebe. So I will be pulling Kartethia, and I'm not going to be pulling anything on the first phase, which is going to be huge, right? Let's say I get a little lucky here and there. I might actually be able to get weapon for Chacona as well, which is pretty nice supportive capability for, I'm assuming, Kartethia. That's who I'm assuming Chacona is going to be a best in slot support for. And maybe I'll be able to get sequences on Kartethia. We'll see how unlucky or lucky I get when this anniversary hits, right? Now, if anyone wants to look for pulling advice from me, I'm going to be honest, I'd say you can pull whoever you want during this Annie. Woowa doesn't exactly have a power creep issue, or actually no, it does have a power creep issue. It doesn't have an HP inflation issue though. So endgame in this game is still incredibly easy to clear. Me and my chat on stream today were looking at old sequences for the first beginning V1 characters and looking at more recent characters, and we noticed that the older beginner V1 characters, the limited ones, really didn't get that much of a damage boost going up to S2. Like at max, it would be like 18%. The average would be 10 to 15. And then what we noticed is that every single recent limited DPS gets around a 30% or more damage jump on S2, and some of the sub DPSs like Cantarella or Brandt get like 50 to 60% damage increases from S0 to S2, which is interesting. That's not something I looked at before, and I hope Wuwa, you know, tones it down a little, especially with this recent Zanny Phoebe reliance thingy. Now, Zanny will still be playable without Phoebe. However, it'll be on the low tier of limited character performance. You need Phoebe to actually play her optimally and honestly play her fully. Because according to a lot of people, you can't even get Zanny's full attack combos off unless you're running Phoebe, which is pretty insane. You're literally missing out on some gameplay for that character, right? But enough of that, you know, doomer stuff. That's all I wanted to make this video for. Those are my pulling plans. I am going to be getting Carlotta plus Sig because I already have Zeshi. After this, I'm going to try and get Chikona. If I get lucky, I'll get the weapon as well. And then 2.4, I'm just going to get Kartethia. I'm going to have 3 pretty solid teams. S0 R1 Camellia, S0 R1 Carlotta, and S0 R1 Kartethia. I look forward to it. Kartethia, I 100% hope is pretty good, right? Don't want her to power creep or anything. I mean, she probably will, if we're all being honest, but I would be completely fine if she was just as strong as Carlotta or Camellia, because I simply love the character, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.